All right. Variable costs. And variable costs are what are generally called COGS, or costs of goods sold, okay? And it's a function of your volume of weed, okay? It's a function of volume, oh my God, of weed, all right? And I need to figure out how these vary, because they're variable based on the volume of weed. Now, I know I'm producing 200 pounds. My cost is 24,018. Literally, I'm just going to little piece of scratch paper here. Then I'm going to do 24,018 divided by 200 pounds. That gives me $120.09 of soil nutrients per pound. Okay, so I'm just going to put that here as a constant. Okay, 120 bucks. Okay, per pound. Okay, so now I'm going to make that blue. And instead of having a number that I put in here, I'm actually just going to take this. I'm going to say this, F4 to make it a constant, times my pounds produced for that year. There we go. Okay? And I can do that for each of these, equals this divided by 200. That's 186.92. We'll call it 187 per pound. Okay? And I'm going to say that my utility cost is $187. Oops, I need to make that a constant, right? Times my pounds gives me $37,400 in utility costs. That's probably grow lights, right? I mean, we all know that. Well, some of us know that you use a lot of electricity when you grow weed. I have a funny story about that. I'll tell you in a moment. Well, I'll tell you right now. So basically, I had some rental units, and the electricity cost went absolutely out of the control, and I couldn't figure out why. And that's interesting. My model gives me a different number for that. 209. I got 238. I got that wrong number. Okay. Electricity costs went out of control, and called the electrician, called a bunch of people, discovered that my tenants were the neighbors of my tenants were stealing their electricity and growing weed using my electricity. So I had to put a stop to that. All right, so here we go. We're almost done with this. F4 times 200. There we go. My variable costs are now done, and in fact, they're dynamic. And watch what happens. Ta-da! The variable cost for soil nutrients is variable as a function of volume of weed produced. Increase this by 5%. Increase this to 5%, and watch this number here. Watch this number here. Oh, look, it changed. It went up. It's actually a function. It's all dynamic. Year 1, year 2, year 3. I can now model my costs based on this. Now, if I wanted to change my utility cost, I could add another row and change it. And I'll show you exactly how to do that by changing price per pound. Okay, so to change price per pound, what we're going to do, I'm going to move the actual price over 1. And I'm going to put in a growth rate. Let's say that weed goes up by 1% per year. I'll make that blue so I remember it's a constant. And then I'll make the first year equal to 2,500. And I'll make subsequent years equal to the year before times 1 plus the growth rate plus C5. C5 needs to be a constant. And then you can drag and drop and it'll actually work. There we go. Okay. I actually don't like decimal points in my numbers because they're annoying in a financial model, because who cares? And I also like my numbers to just have commas because that's what I like. And so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to get rid of the decimal points. Okay, there we go. All right. So I now have my price variable, 1% per year. In fact, it turns out that marijuana has gone down in price rather dramatically in the Pacific Northwest because of various government regulations. But so let's put a negative price, negative price increase. There we go. Price is going down. Okay? So there you go. Is a function of the old price. So now we have to change this equation. Okay, this equation becomes row 4 times row 5. Okay, and then you can drag and drop that across, and it gets more accurate. Okay, and in fact, a trick you can do if you want, we could call this A, we call this B, and we could actually tell somebody reading this spreadsheet that this is A times B. Not everyone does it that way, but I've seen it done that way. It's actually kind of useful. Okay, so here we got a nice little spreadsheet growing. Okay, so we're going to insert a row here. I'll call this revenue, and I'll bold that. Okay, and then just to make sure I understand that this is a sum, I can put a nice little underline under there, and there we go, we're getting somewhere. Alright, so this is our gross revenue, okay? And it's possible you now want to start actually figuring out if you're making any money.